Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Have you been talking to Christy Mixie? I'm the worst guy on earth. Today we're going to be doing our second foreign movie review, and it's going to be on. Now, this movie goes back. I think this movie was done in 2017. I believe it was 2017. Uh, when the movie was in theaters, a lot of Filipinos was telling me about this movie. This was back when I was exposed to more Filipino women's, because I was already was talking to quite a bit, but I became more exposed to Filipinos in different areas now. Because at first it was just one area, but now I'm talking to Filipinos all over, which is a surprise because they don't just talk to anybody. So the ones that were talking to me, they was asking me about this movie, Train to Busan, or however you say the movie. I don't know Korea or any of their cities, so I don't know how to pronounce the name of the city. So forgive me, please. So they was telling me they was going to the movies to see that. And me being in America, the movie wasn't in theaters. So I had to wait for it to come out on DVD. And when it came out on DVD, I thought I was gonna have to buy the movie off of Amazon. And which to my surprise, I seen it on the shelf in stores. So that was a relief. And I didn't hesitate to buy the movie either, but I did try to recommend co-workers to buy it and other people, but they're not foreign friendly, to be honest, which is a loss because Asians they make better horror movies now. Like America's made good horror movies back in the 70s and 80s. Uh, I think early 90s there was some, probably like up to 92, and then from then horror movies just starting to die horribly. Um, so we're gonna start with the main character. The main character is somebody I find to be very misunderstood. He's going through a divorce because his wife believes that the guy is putting his work ahead of his family. And yeah, Asian women they're about their family and they want to see their husband a lot more. And him being a workaholic, uh, kind of hurting his relationship with his wife, and it carries over to his child too. I don't know his child is feeling it or she's been hearing her mom talking about her dad so much. So it could be both. It could be both. So he also has a job where he's a fund manager. So that also means that he could be looked at as selfish too, because uh, they supposed to kind of like real estate people who leave people high and dry, and they prey on the people who don't know better, stuff like that. So I also believe there's a reason for that too, because I mean the guy is extremely human. He's way too human, and you don't really you see him being selfish a lot, but you're thinking this, okay, so what? He's only thinking about him and his daughter, wouldn't you? So that's what that's like. And his other issue with his wife. If you're a guy, you'll probably understand. If you're a female, you're probably not gonna understand. But I know a lot of females don't understand that people do have to work to support their families. So you're probably gonna see your man a lot less. or whatever, because he may come home late or he have to stay a little longer. But it's whatever. So we also have the daughter. The daughter, she's not a dumbass. She's pretty smart. She picks up on things. She's kind of emotional. You will see her crying a lot in the film. Uh, mm, what else? What else? She she's not like her dad at all. She is not like her dad. There's not too much to say about the daughter other than she picks up things a lot faster. She can see things, and most kids when most kids aren't active listeners, especially her age. I think she was like 7 or 8 year old or something like that, and like I said, she's not stupid. She's pretty smart. But unfortunately for the dad, the only person who understood him was his mom, and and his mom is the only person that didn't want to see him go through the divorce, and she's telling him to do things, try to fix this, and uh, it would have been more. It would have made more sense coming from the wife's mom. That's who I want to hear it coming from, but not his. But it's good to see it come from his mom because nobody understood him, and she showed that she's the only person who does. Uh, so I believe one time in the beginning of the movie, he asked one of his I don't know, the guy was his secretary or what, but he was. I think he's supposed to be the person who do errands. Because after he got off the phone with the client, uh, he asked to send him in. So when he came in, he told him like to sell the stocks and get your emotions out of it or don't catch feelings for these people, stuff like that. So then before he walked out, he was like, "What are the kids into?" So apparently he told him the kids are into video games. So he went and bought his daughter a Wii. I mean, keep in mind this is back in 2016 or 17, and the Wii was supposedly be the hottest thing, but the Wii did fail horribly because they didn't want a handheld as a console game, and they dropped the ball when they tried to make a console game a handheld game. And I think the reason for that was because Nintendo, they are really they dominate in the handheld department. So that's why they made that mistake. So getting back on topic. So he bought her a Wii U and he had it wrapped. He handed it to her and he told her to open it. So when she opened it and saw it was a Wii U, she didn't look pleased. So he asked her what was wrong. So she kind of looked, and then he looked the same direction she was looking and saw that she already had a Wii U. And then he was looking like, oh shit. Like I keep screwing up. That's that look on his face. You can see it in his face how he see himself as somebody who can't get it right, but he's trying. Uh, so her thing is she wanted to go see mom because she can't deal with being her dad anymore, being with him anymore. So I guess they had to take the late night train to Busan, however you say it. So he ended up taking her. you can see before they get to the train station that the outbreak was happening, because I think he almost got hit by a fire truck, and then it was followed by some policemen or paramedics or whatever. But I knew it was a fire truck there, but I'm not sure what else was following. But it was also followed by vehicles with the sirens. So uh, I think there was an explosion happened over there too. Hmm. Yeah, because I think you see like flames and like off the reflection of the windshield, I believe. So when they get to the train, there was a guy who was supposed to be checking for people passes or whatever for them to get on the train, but somehow he let this one girl slip through. And it wasn't like she went in quietly. She did make quite a bit of noise getting on that train, or getting in the train, because while he was calling himself looking one way, she got through by the she got through on the blind side. And when she got to the train, she kind of bumped up against the train and then went up I think there was some stairs you're supposed to step on in order to get, in order to get in the train. So she bumped up against the train and then went up the stairs. Like, how do you not hear that? That's something that's gonna bug you if you're really watching it, paying attention to this movie. Like, how is that possible? And for sure, how is it possible for her to, well, yeah, how is it possible for her to even get there without being seen? Shouldn't he, like, if he's standing and looking straight ahead, he should see everything that's coming his way. So turning his head for a little bit, it shouldn't even matter, because she should have been spotted. That's what I'm trying to say. She should have been spotted, but the fact that she didn't kind of bothered me. Maybe she was hiding and waiting for him to turn so she can get from behind a corner or a wall or something. Maybe that's what it was, but we don't know. But kind of, looking at this movie, that's what I was thinking. That he should be able to see everything that's in front of him. So it didn't matter if he turned his head for a split second. There's no way a person should be able to sneak past him, especially making noise. So the person that happened to make an unwelcome entrance was somebody who was bit. And when he turned his head, that's exactly what he was looking at. He was looking at an incident of somebody was like forming a crowd, and then you could see some movement in the middle. So when the door closed, he walked off towards that crowd. And as the train was moving off, the little girl saw somebody getting attacked. And, she was kind of, looking, trying to see what was happening, but she couldn't see it. So she was going to talk to her dad, but she saw that her dad was kind of sleeping. So she kind of used that as an opportunity to start wandering. And I also think that she had to use the bathroom too. So she left his side to go use the bathroom, and she met this pregnant lady and her fiance. I think that's her fiance. I don't think they married yet. If so, I must have misunderstood or overlooked it. Because keep in mind, I am watching it in Korean. So there's a pregnant lady and her fiance. Her fiance is kind of like a comic relief almost, and he's also a bit of an asshole. Uh, but not in the extreme way, not to the extreme. Uh, then you also have like the baseball team, and then there happened to be this one cheerleader who was happened to take the train with them. I think she was a cheerleader. I don't know, but she happens to have a crush on one of the guys on the team, and she wanted to be with this guy, but the guy didn't really care for the girl. Well, at least at the beginning of the movie, he didn't. But later on in the movie, they starting to get a bit closer. Then we also have the mayor or governor, whoever he was. Um, he's also kind of like the main character. He's also selfish and way too human, you know. He is very relatable, and a lot of times you just want to kick his fucking ass. uh, he is very similar to the main character in some ways. Uh, he's a take no chance type of person. If you are out there with them, he don't want you in with him and the rest of the guys. He believes that's clean, that's not infected. I think that's the best way I can put it. So, uh, who else? You have the two elderly sisters. I think you were introduced to them when the little girl offered one of them her seat. Uh, yeah, she offered one of the older ladies her seat, and the dad was like, "Why did you do that?" And the girl was like, "What you mean? Why did you be so good? Why are you so nice to these people?" Stuff like that. And then she was telling him about his mom, how she always have to sit down and take a break, or maybe her knees hurt so much. So she was being considerate. But even telling him that little bit, it didn't get through to him. But he didn't say anything. Uh, who else? Who else? Who else? I don't think that's all of the characters that the movie focus on. I think it is. I think it is. It focused on the man and his daughter, the pregnant lady and her fiance, the two lovers. I think they're high school. Yeah, the two high school kids and the two sisters. So the movie focused on them. Okay, so this movie is an outbreak movie. It's about infected. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused. It's it they're not zombies, because I think zombies have to die in order to be zombies. These people, they weren't dead. They weren't dead. So apparently, I think it's a bio thing, a biohazard thing. Cause like in the beginning of the movie, it was said that it was like some kind of leak, a minor leak, and that's enough to, I guess, cause this big outbreak. I'm thinking, because it's a lot to cover, and I'm not trying to cover everything, because there's a lot running through my mind, and I'm trying to stay on track here. Mm, no, what was I saying? Okay, so There's a difference between zombies and infected. So if they're running after you, those are not zombies. They're infected. Zombies usually are slow moving creatures and they usually come from underground or whatever. But infected, on the other hand, um, they they have to go through a secondhand disease, or they have to have contact from the host or the carrier, one of the two, in order to become the undead. So keep that in mind. A lot of people confuse infected as zombies, and they are two different things. So, and all right, let me try to take my time here. Now, uh, it first happened when the girl who snuck in, she was already bitten on the leg. So apparently she was in the bathroom. I think she was tying a tourniquet on her upper thigh, and she was apologizing about something. I'm not sure what she was apologizing about, but she kept apologizing over and over while she was tying that tourniquet. So she was walking through the train till she collapsed, and then she, started vibrating on the ground. And then one of the stewardess saw her just laying there, and she went to help her. And when she saw that she needed some kind of medical help, she kind of turned her back and picked up her walkie-talkie to try to get some kind of communication going. And apparently nobody was responding. And while she was waiting to get some kind of answer, she was kind of rising up, and she had like this scary stance, and that would probably scare a lot of first viewers when they first see this. And that's not the best part, but that's one of the good part. So she gets attacked afterwards, and then she goes through the through one of the cars with the infected on her back, sucking on her neck. And the people was like, "What's going on?" And they don't know what was happening. So when they saw that the the girl was kind of dying slow, well, I'm not gonna say she was dying, but she was bloody. And then the girl that was on top kind of raised up with the with the look and the the hissing noise or whatever. That's when they start panicking. But while all this is happening, the little girl is like still walking around trying to find a bathroom, or maybe she was using the bathroom at the time, because she found a bathroom, but she had to make a detour because she met the pregnant lady. Well, she met the fiance. Forgive me for not knowing these people's names. uh, I think I remember the little girl's name, and I think I remember the pregnant girl's name. I think the pregnant girl name was something like, was it Sung Ki Young or something like that? And the little girl name was Sue Ann or something like that. Um, so she was finna open the door, but the fiance kind of snatched her hand and raised it up and like, had a little talk with her. And so she had to leave and go find another bathroom. But later she bumped into him. I believe she bumped into him. And the pregnant lady, kind of introduced her to the fetus. She was allowing her to touch or whatever. And then the guy looked at her. He was like, "I made that." He was telling that to the little girl, which was kind of funny. But I don't think women would find that funny though. But I kind of found it funny. Uh, but his fiance was was slapping him for saying that, which was understandable. So this is while the outbreak thing is going on in the train, which they have no knowledge of at the moment. So I think later her dad wakes up because remember he was asleep when she kind of had to go to the bathroom, and I think a phone call woke him up. And when he saw that his girl was gone, he told the person that he'll call him back. So he went looking for her. So uh, I think I'm kind of off here because I think she was in the bathroom when he went to look for her because he was gonna knock on the girl's bathroom door that she was in, but he kind of changed his mind when he saw the commotions in the cart. So he went to the other cart where the commotion was, and that's that's when you notice that she was in that bathroom because when he was like walking, they had the camera in front of him. So when you look behind him, she was coming out of that bathroom. So uh, so he was witnessing people turning and then attacking other people. And when he first saw that, that's when his girl started calling out for him. So he picked her up and started running, and which was an interesting situation because when you picking up a little child and you have to run, especially somebody her age, that's an extra weight right there. And then you are running from a crowd of zombies behind you and while running forward, and then there's one zombie like standing in front of you coming at you. So what the hell do you do? You have a group of zombies behind you and one coming at you. So what he did, he kind of used his daughter as a shield or whatever, and he kind of rammed his way through. So the zombie kind of like he was kind of like deflected and did some kind of little spin or twist in the air and went to like a back row, and he was kind of knocked into a seat himself, but he had to get back up and keep running. So let's see. He was he had to take her and run into this cart, which the mayor was in, I believe. And the mayor didn't want anybody else in, so he was like, close the door on these people. And so the dad was going to close the door. But when she saw that it was the pregnant lady and the fiance was out there, the little girl was like, I know him, and stuff like that. So he opened the door and let them in and closed the door. And from right there, you got yourself a movie. So now everybody aware of what's going on in the movie. That there's an outbreak going on, and I think they also had it playing on the TV in the train because I think they had like little televisions on the back of a headrest and on the ceilings too. So this is pretty much what they have to go through in a nutshell. So apparently, I'm not going to tell the entire movie, so I'm just going to do some skipping. I'm gonna do some fast forwarding. So the main character, the dad, he's supposed to be the selfish person, thinking about him and his daughter, their well being. So this man has contacts. So he was able to use his phone to call somebody he know to help them bypass quarantine and all that. Uh, apparently, oh yeah, and I forgot there was a homeless guy. I forgot about the homeless guy. He's also a key character in the movie. Uh, okay, so he had a phone call that the homeless guy heard him talking. So after he got off the phone, he saw the homeless guy, but he assumed he was asleep. But the dude was awake. So when they kind of got off the train and heading to quarantine, they was going their separate ways. And the fiance of the pregnant lady kind of pushed her on and like, never mind them, let's just keep going. So he was gonna take this shortcut somewhere else, and he kind of looked back, and the homeless guy was standing there. So he didn't want to take the homeless guy with him. So it was just him and his daughter gonna go bypass quarantine. And the homeless guy was like, "No, I think I'd rather go with you guys. I heard your conversation over the phone about you skipping quarantine and stuff like that." And his daughter picked up on that conversation, and she was like, "Really, Dad? You're gonna be selfish and leave these other people behind?" And stuff like that. But she wasn't being sassy, but I think she was emotional when she was having that talk with her dad. And this movie is over the top with emotions, so that's the one thing I dislike about the movie is all the emotions that goes on in this movie. All the sad scenes and all that. Even the ending is hard to watch. It's very hard to watch. Uh, so from that point, I think the main character he starts to develop. Uh, he starts to come out of the selfishness when the people started to help him when he was like damn near dying, cause they was they was in the train station and they was sealing off the doors. He was still in this room that they were sealing it off. So he was on the ground wrestling with some zombie. I think he would kind of put a book in his mouth. I thought he was gonna do some kind of karate move or whatever, where he pushed the books up the zombie's mouth or whatever. I mean, infected. When he pushed the book up the thing's mouth and make a getaway, but he didn't. So the homeless dude, what he ended up doing was saving his ass by throwing a coat over his head. And the zombie kind of raised up and started looking. And the guy was like puzzled for a minute, like what this thing's doing. And so the fiance kind of like opened the door to get him off the ground. So after witnessing people helping him, he became a different person. So they went on to a second train where they kind of got separated. So on the second train to Busan, they have to like go to like two or three carts to get to the other people because the other two or three carts was filled with zombies and they have to go through them some kind of way. So the main character, he had a phone of the train route. I think it was like a GPS. So the GPS was supposed to show like when there's a tunnel coming. So whenever there's a tunnel, they can use it to their advantage to sneak by because in a tunnel they can't see anything because it's dark. So the infected is not going to attack what they can't see. But one thing they do respond to is noise. So they was using like a baseball bat tapping the walls and cell phone ringtones and all that type of stuff to lure the zombies from one point to another point so they can kind of get by, so they can get to the other areas, which is smart, very smart. I mean, they are Koreans, so a lot of them are smart. Uh, so I guess I'm gonna end it here. I think the rest of it gonna be a bunch of spoilers, and I don't want to spoil the movie. I think I said enough, but that's just like midway into the movie. But as far as the ending goes, I want you guys to see it for yourself. And this is the best horror movie ever. Well, the best infected movie ever. Yeah, I'll say that's I'll say that much. I am a big Asian horror fan. I've gotten, I've downloaded a lot of them, especially movies from Thailand, Japan, Korea, or whatever. I think there's even a scary one from Indonesia. And Indonesian people, they look scary anyway to me. And in this particular Indonesian movie, I was looking at some screenshots, and the screenshots they were showing was frightening. So I had to see that too. So I'll probably save those other movies for another horror. I mean, for another foreign movie review. Uh, so this is how you do a horror movie. This is how you do a biohazard movie. Yeah, this was perfectly done, if I say so myself. The only thing I could live without is all the over the top emotional scenes. So please, I recommend this movie. They recommended it to me, and it didn't let me down.